Potent Pondering. I'm back with another video, yo. When I tell you, my nigga Camron went in. Yo, shout out to Camron and Mace. When I tell y'all, the reason why I was so excited, like, first and foremost, for It Is What It Is podcast is because Camron and Mace, if you from New York, I don't care where you from in New York, upstate New York, New York City, whatever, you already know what they run was like in the 90s and the early 2000s and all of that, right? So I'm happy for Camron and Mace with the It Is What It Is podcast. So y'all know what's going on with Cam and Jim Jones. You know, Camron did an interview with 50 Cent. They spoke on some past things, right? Let me make sure I pull my little notes up. I don't really like to pull notes up when I talk about stuff like this because this is stuff that I know about. But I definitely want to break down some things that he touched on in the interview, right? So Camron was speaking with 50 Cent. And, you know, he touched on when Jim Jones had ended up performing with him before, because Camron and 50 Cent had a beef before, right? They was pretty much beefing because 50 Cent made comments about Koch Records and said Koch Records was the graveyard for rappers who wasn't popping no more, right? So, Cam didn't like that. You know, Cam released the Curtis, and then 50 Cent had funeral music. So they had that, you know, War of Words music or whatever, but they squashed the beef, cool, and all of that, right? And I'm happy that they was able to do that, and Cam and 50 was able to sit down even years later. They've been squashed the beef though, but I'm happy that they was able to get past that, because a lot of times, you know, sometimes them beefs end in bloodshed, right? So anyway, that happened. So then Cam is sitting talking with 50 Cent, and he talks about the Jim Jones situation, which I also want to highlight this, right? So this is the reason why the beef started. So Jim Jones ended up performing with 50 Cent on stage, and I had to highlight this too. I remember when Fat Joe and Remy Ma was beefing, Remy Ma jumped on stage with 50 Cent as well and was basically like, basically telling Joe, like, I'm out here, or, you know, I'm saying, like, she was being unloyal, like, I'm out here. And that's when Joe put the clause in her contract that she could not sign with G-Unit for 8 years. If you do the digging on the internet, you'll be able to find the interview. Anyway, so I just wanted to set the stage. That's the reason why Camron and Jim Jones is... And then Jim Jones has some shit like, get off my ick, get off... He was saying that to Cam, you know, after the interview surfaced or whatever, right? So anyway, I love the fact that Camron broke down the history. Yes, you got to talk to him, because I got to be honest with you. I'm a day one fan, right? I know about the mixtapes. I know about the Children of the Corn. Ask anybody, like anybody from that era, 80s baby, early 90s baby, you already know it. If you in the mix, you know that we love all of our regal New York artists, like the Jay-Z, the Nas, the Camron, the Jadakiss, you know, all of them. Jim Jones didn't come till later, and while Jim Jones did have good songs, and one of the standouts for me is the Summer of Miami, I'm feeling like OPM. Yeah, that was one of my favorite Jim Jones songs, but he got mad other songs after that too, right? That's cool. But Camron, no, you ain't compared to Camron. You ain't compared to Mason. I'm happy that when he stated in that breakdown that Camron taught him how to rap. Camron and, I'm sorry, Mace taught him how to rap, and Cam taught him how to rap, right? And I love how Cam broke it down with the history, showing how he was doing the freestyles on DJ Clue. Shout out to everybody from that era. Y'all already know we came from that best era in New York around that time. The DJ Clue, the Who's Who. Yeah, the DJ Clue, all of that, right? Camron had some crazy freestyles back then. Yo, shout out to Fabulous. He was on this grind back then too. So Fabulous and Mace, so Camron and Mace was killing the Clue tapes. Cam had the Children of the Corn, right? And I like how he set the scene, saying now, like, you know, Jim Jones was a fan. And I want y'all to think about this. How many people in your life do you know, like, and I know that I personally experienced this in different avenues in life, that a person will make it seem like they like you so much and they really don't like you. It's like, you know, they want to use you up for your resources or get next to you, whatever, but they really don't like you. And I don't like to use the word fam. They in a different type of realm, but you do have people who are envious of you, and I call it the greedy love, where they want to like you, or maybe they just don't know how to be a friend or whatever. But anyway, Cam said that Jim Jones was basically a fan. He had a grandmother. He had a free apartment. I guess his grandmother passed away. They kicked it at Jim Jones' crib. Jim Jones used to sweat them all the time coming out of radio like, oh, that freestyle was this was that. And then they ended up being cool with him, right? He had the free crib and they put him down with him, right? You know, sometimes you in the perfect situation. You at the right place, the right time. Kind of like Remy Ma getting down with Big Pun. She kind of seen him coming home from school or whatever. She ended up rapping with him and got down. Right place, right time. That's just pretty much it, right? So Camron was developed. And listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Jim Jones was cool. He got some tracks, but Cam is like, lyrically, you're not seeing no Camron. And I think Jim Jones' head got big. I don't know if it was the Love and Hip Hop or whatever, but his head got gas and super big, right? But I love how Cam walked down the history. Like, you know, you was a fan. We noticed you that way. You came into the game, and then he tried to make it seem like he made Cam. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's so weird. Like, yo, that's crazy to me, how people will get in a situation and try to infiltrate it and make people think like some otherness, right? So, yeah, I thought that was wild. So, you know, he touched on, you know, again, their come up days and all of that. I want to make sure that I'll skip anything, right? So, come on, fam. Come on. All right. So, talking about how Jim Jones was all in on the freestyle tip and, you know, sweating him and all of that. And so, listen, the thing I want to talk about with this right here, he said that he didn't understand why Jim Jones got so frustrated, infuriated over the fact that he had this conversation with 50 Cent. He said, you know, Cam said, I don't even speak in a malicious matter towards you or anything. But he said, Jim Jones be going around telling all these old 25-year-old stories, talking about, oh, Cam got me jumped here. He was on, and I remember this too. I'm happy that Cam outlined this when he was like, Jim Jones was on Funk Flex crying and all of that, saying he was going to Rockefeller, like very performative. Like, and you know, I just needed a quick refresher, all of that. But the crazy thing about it was this. He said that he don't understand why Jim Jones got all of this energy for him, but when, you know, he was beefing with et cetera people, he ain't have that smoke with them. But you already know what it's like when you got that narcissist or somebody in your family where they'll treat people who close to them like shit, and then they treat people who they don't know. Like, these are the people who don't know them for real. They treat them the best. You know, and some people only respect disrespect. So I want to walk down the list of the people who he said that he had issues with. So he said Jim Jones was cool with everybody who put hands on him. So he said, see, Gutter from Junior Mafia put hands on Jim Jones, and now Jim Jones is all cool with him. True Life, I know y'all heard about True Life. I think he's from Harlem, right? True Life put hands on him. He said he tried to pop up on Mano, like, cause you know Mano did that track where he was dissing everybody in the industry, and he said that Jim Jones tried to roll up on Mano. He was like, yo, nigga, like, you know, Mano checked him basically like, yo, I'm not one of them type of niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? Mano flipped on him, and he said now him and Mano is together and they the lobby boys. Yo, Cam really, let me just tell you this, right? When Cam spilled on this, when he did that, you know, in the podcast today, he still could have went much harder, and I felt like he was just laying it out clean. He ain't even he wasn't even supercharged and went super hard like that. So he talked about Mano. He also said about Mendices, how, you know, him and Mendices had some sort of situation where like it was a shootout or something like that. That happened, and he cool with Mendices. He brought up the French Montana, how he was beefing with French Montana. Then he was at the French Montana movie shoot, and they was dissing him at the movie shoot. So listen, you understand how you got all of this animosity for everybody else, but then a person like Camron, or, you know, Cam, who put you down with his clique, it's like you give him his ass a kiss. You tell him, get off my dick. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me. So I'm happy that Cam brought this up, because sometimes you need to relive these things, really recognize and understand. And he's like, I don't understand why Jim feel this way. Dipset movement was from 2001 to 2006. And I promise you, I don't remember Jim Jones until the Dipset movement. But like I said, I still give him his flowers. You know, he got some songs that we like. Ballin', some of Miami, all of that. He got some other, you know, little B-sides that we do like too. But the thing about it is that you came through the vessel or the being of Camron. That was the reason why you came up. All of them, Joel Santana, Freaky Zeke, all of them. You know what I'm saying? So I liked how he laid that out. So Cam said that he made amends with these people, and he said that it's good that Jim Jones made amends with these people. He about to be 50 years old this year. That was a little snub. I know that if I'm going to be 42 this year, I don't know how old Cam is. I know Cam got to probably be mid 40s or whatever, but he said Jim Jones going to be 50 this year. Jim Jones got a lot of his shit is gray too, so I don't know. It could be some stress from Chrissy Lampkin. Yeah, I was listening to Sub-Zero tonight. He said that he feel as though that Jim Jones is going around trying to, like, you know, say he from Harlem and all of that, because Chrissy Lampkin is the one who kind of like stamped him, because she messed with all of the OG Harlem dudes. Like, he said that Chrissy messed with Alpo AZ from is AZ from Brooklyn? Is from Sugar? I know he got the Sugar Hill song. He said she messed with AZ, so I guess he feeling like he Harlem because of, you know, his dealings or whatever. But Cam exposed that too, saying that, yo, you're from the Bronx, but see, when you start getting affiliated, people start acting. Listen, remember Little Kim? Also Daddy O. Remember Daddy O was the one who was in the early days of Junior Mafia, Little Kim, Foxy Brown, all of them. Daddy O said that Little Kim is from the Bronx. Why everybody like to scream boroughs where they not from? You know, the Harlem is a cool place to be from. I ain't gonna lie. I liked Harlem because Harlem was uptown. I'm from upstate New York, so it's like everywhere uptown is popping. I'm from upstate New York, uptown Albany, so uptown Harlem. Yo, I don't care what you say. Everywhere where it's a uptown is popping. Uptown is popping. It's always that way. So I had that little connection with that too. Yeah, I'm from uptown too. So you know what I'm saying? So I understand Cam is because Jim Jones came out with that whole song about that Harlem. And, oh, come on. People be hummer stunting. You know, I also love Camron too, because that's my Aquarius brother. Like, yo, real talk. Like, and I know that a lot of y'all be jaded by the Aquarians because of Megan Thee Stallion. No, she's not a true representation. Let me tell you one reason why I love and I rock with Cam is I remember back in the day, on MySpace, like, you know, and he had like a personal page on there, and I had did a freestyle over one of his beats called Shake, right? And he added me from the personal page. He never really said much. I can't really remember it. I know that he did acknowledge it or whatever, but it wasn't like no scam page. It wasn't trying to get money out of people or anything. It was like a Camron page. That was pretty much it. He wasn't asking no questions. He was just like, he let me know that he seen it, so that was real. You know what I'm saying? So I always will remember that. Like, yo, that was the real days. That's when Nicki was on MySpace. Soulja Boy was coming up. Like, that was the real organic days. Like, that was some shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I really enjoyed this interview a lot. Camron also outlined how he was running around. I loved how Jim Jones was running around talking about how he left them to get jumped by 8 people at the Rucker. He was like, yo, if you want to tell these stories, tell these stories. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy that he cleared this up when he spoke on people saying that he got punched in the face by Little C's, because that was a rumor for a long time, and I'm happy that Cam cleared that up. He was like, no, Little C's, we cool, but no. That did not happen. I'm happy because, yo, I was thinking that for years, because I thought that they all had that beef over Junior Mafia, because Cam was saying that he wrote Crush on You, and that kind of exposed them for not being writers. And if you listen to Crush on You, I don't care what Cam say, he did write Little Kim's verse on Crush on You. Because if you know the way Camron rap, the way that Little Kim rapped on that, you know I love the way you feel. Sip my tequila, work from the dealer, full limp chinchilla. He wrote that. He wrote it. I'm telling you, because it was with Un Rivera. Camron was with Un Rivera at the time. He wrote that. You know I love the way you feel. Sip my tequila, work from the dealer, full limp chinchilla. He wrote that. But then Cam also outlined when Jim Jones ran away from them when he was at the down at the beach. He said, yo, Jim Jones sprinted to the beach and they still ran and caught up with him. He was down at the beach and BMF had approached Cam and Jim Jones. All right. The last thing that he spoke on that I really wanted to touch on was this, right? And now he spoke on like how he be trapping people, what did he say? Tricking people out their freedom and all of that, right? And I thought that was crazy. Of course, I thought about Max B. Max B, you know, currently serving a sentence right now. And then one most recent thing that I thought about was a female battle rapper who's down with, who was promoting that she was down with Jim Jones. I don't know what happened. You know, business dealings happen. People, you never know. Things fall through. But I know that Miss Hustle, who was down with Smack URL, she was screaming and before saying now she was down with Jim Jones and this and that, right? Sometimes you could see a thing before. And, you know, I was really excited for her. She said that the EP was coming. I seen Jim Jones with her. She was out to dinner with him. You know, she was really proud of it. But then next thing I know, nothing happened. So I want to know what happened. You know, not saying that Miss Hustle is more important than Max B and all of those other dudes that was down, you know, and they ended up getting, I think he says one person got 75 years, 12 years, all of that. His godson, you know, people got all of those years. But when you look at a person's history, it's like, you know, do they have a trend and a track record for doing people bad? I want to know what happened in Miss Hustle Project. And, you know, and it's unfortunate to what happened with it's unfortunate what happened with Max B and all of them. But yeah, listen, I'm a Camron Mace fan to the death. Crazy dope freestyles, crazy music. I love, listen, everybody, you already know. If you know me, you know that I love Mace. I love Camron. Like, I think if you just from New York, even the tri-state area, New York, Connecticut, Jersey, Philly, like they ran that whole little circuit. Camron, Jada, you know, those was more of our local, like our really, you know, the artists we can relate to. Like, not saying we can't relate to Nas and Jay-Z, but Camron, Jada, Styles P, like those was really the streets, like, you know, crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to Jim Jones, you know, I always gave him respect, but I wasn't a huge fan like I was with Camron. I get the boosters boosting, I get computers puting, y'all get shot at, call me, I do the shooting, I do the recruiting, I tutor the student, I nurture their brain, I'm moving the movement. Yo, man, I rock mostly Doshi, I roll mostly Dolly, I leave you yo, here come the core and the, listen, Cam, he just will always, Cam will always have a special place for me in music, because I grew up to that. I was a teenager when he was coming up, so it's just like, yeah. Alright, potent, pondering, never pandering. Let me know what you thought about how Camron addressed Jim Jones. Let me know, are you a Jim Jones fan? How do you feel about, you know, Jimmy reacting the way he did? I want you to focus in on this though. Jim Jones was mad at the fact that Camron had that conversation with 50 Cent. He was mad that he had the conversation with 50 Cent. And like Cam said, what does it matter? It was 20 years after. He wanted to talk about it. Jim Jones got up there. He was being unloyal, trying to perform with 50, because 50 said in funeral music that Jim Jones was capo now and all of this, whatever. You know, it was just messy back at that time. So he got mad just because he brung it up. It's like, damn. But then I understand what Cam means. It's like, damn, you getting so aggressive talking about get off my dick to me, but then you rolling with people who done put hands on you, hands and feet on you, dissed you at the movie premiere. You all of a sudden you near them. It's like you near them, but then you trying to give Cam the most. But see, people treat the people who they love the most the worst. Know that. So maybe it's some personal feelings there with Cam, and he feel like things ain't go the way that he wanted them to go. I don't know. But listen, potent, pondering, I'm up out of here. Subscribe to this channel, thumbs up the video, yeah, and peace.